Yeah, what I had to do was I had to leave and then go in through my pro account to get into. I couldn't use the link like you guys did.
Oh, well.
It's kind of funny.
Hello, Cheryl.
Good morning, Esteban.
And thank you. Good morning, Stephanie.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hello, hello.
So, what we have is a pretty interesting case. Pretty lengthy. And pretty diverse. So we've got a semiconductor brokerage company that's got a lot of stuff going on. Steven, he's got his head guy that's quitting. So he's got to find someone else to replace him in his position. And he has to go through multiple different interviews. He finds a headhunter. He gets those interviews, meets with these people individually throughout the month, and he obtains his personal opinions about them, and then he has different evaluations. Then he's left with the question, okay, should I keep Rena, the gal that's replaced the first analyst, or does he get a new one? So that's kind of the dilemma.
And I feel like he feels pressured to get somebody else.
Yes.
I don't think he has a problem with her. I think he's just feeling the pressure.
That is correct. There is pressure from his superior officers in a way, getting him to find someone new. They don't really like Rena because she's only been there for, maybe a little while, a couple years, 20 years, maybe 10 years. And they would like to have somebody that's more perhaps professional in essence to run the program.
They want a star and not a junior.
Right.
I said she was introverted too, so that's really not a good trait for a leader like that.
Yeah.
Definitely. So what do you guys' let's talk about the pros and cons of each candidate, and we can kind of look at how that's going to affect their ability to work at RSH.
Sounds great. I can't remember all of their names.
Right, I'm pulling up a list of their names right now.
Okay.
I know Gerald was the first one.
And is he the old guy?
No, that's David.
That's David. Okay.
Yeah, David.
So what was Gerald? What was his main qualities?
His pros or cons?
Was he the one that wasn't a good at working with a team?
Yeah, he was the one that showed up late, wasn't it? To the
Yeah.
interview. He was 15 minutes late and didn't even apologize for being late.
Yeah, that would be a deal breaker for me right away.
Yeah.
It was a deal breaker actually for me while I was reading it. I'm like, yeah, no, you're late.
And he seemed a little arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
He was just concerned with like how much commission he was going to make, how much money he was going to make with the company.
Well, and he's the one that's changed jobs several times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, yeah, with him being late, he just seems cocky and unwilling to. He doesn't seem like a team player.
Yeah, and he down talked his junior analyst. He was complaining about little things in the office, like the copier machine wasn't working, and it was just other things that he wasn't really current.
Yeah, I didn't like him very much right off the bat, but he is smart and he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I just don't think, because he's looking for a long-term employee, I don't think that he would be that. And I don't think he would fit into their business model where they're more of a team employee. They work as teams.
I agree with that one. But he's got a lot of experience.
He does have a lot of experience and he's very smart. And he gets results. It says in there that he gets results with what he does.
Correct. So is that it on Gerald in a way?
Yeah, he did fire his junior in a poorly chosen situation. I guess he was in a meeting with a bunch of other people and he fired his junior right in the middle of the meeting. So there was a lot of things that stood out. I ranked him 5 out of 6 on the list on the order of hiring.
Yeah.
Actually, I wouldn't recommend him.
No.
Yep.
He came last on my list.
Yeah. Well, there's that other guy they ruled out
Oh, Seth.
early on, Andrew Katz. And they didn't talk about him very much, but he was listed in there. So
What about David Hughes?
It seems odd to me that somebody that has been in a company that long and is that old is all of a sudden looking to shift jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that he can't do good. He's obviously top of his game. He knows what he's doing, but I just don't understand his full reasoning for switching.
I couldn't see any subjective reasons why not to hire him.
Right.
Seemed like some of the input from some of the RSH team members were just coming from an old guy myself, is kind of biased. They were biased a bit to his age.
Right.
And same with Sonia. I mean, recognize some bias there with her being a mother and a female.
There was bias there.
Yep.
I don't have a problem with his age. That doesn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know, because most of the time when people get that close to retiring age, they're just where they're at and they just stay there. And he had already been at this company for years, for a long time. I just don't understand his desire to move.
Didn't he say something that he felt like, oh, there it is. He says, I'm in a rut covering the same old big names and haven't been allowed to pick up some of the growth companies.
Right.
He's just kind of getting bored and where he's at right now, and he just kind of
wants something different. And I see that.
Mm-hmm.
But he also isn't keeping up on technology. So
that's true.
He's falling behind in those things. So if he's falling behind in those things and he's bored, shouldn't he work towards things he doesn't understand?
Yes.
How do you think that would apply at his old job, based upon the little information that we have?
Well, I can see, because younger people are out for themselves a lot of times. They're out to go get what they think they deserve, and they want what people have worked for their whole lives right now and not in the future. So I can see them trying to push him out.
Right. Louise, what do you think?
Okay, I think about this case, first of all, I have learned a lot because I don't know how it works Wall Street, right?
Mm-hmm.
How they buy and sell companies, right? And this process is amazing for me, but I am learning a lot, right? And I have a little understanding about that because here in Colombia, we don't have enough the stock market is very, very poor, right? There is only few companies at the stock market. And it's amazing for me, this war, because I love movies like Wall Street, you know? But I don't understand a lot of things what's going on there, right? But I enjoy how they buy and they know secrets of the company and the prospects of the company, right? That it could affect the incomes, losses, right, of the net profits in some times, right? And there is a lot of information that is so with a lot of expertise, right? In that sense, I think there is some candidates, right? But I think the cost of the hiring, right? Risa is the name of the Rina Shia, the analyst that has worked a lot, that they know the company, that she is the future of the company because he have more than 3 years working fine and knowing how the team works. And I think it's very important for that, right? Because when we hire a new star, they need a long time to know the process of the company, how the team works, right? And according to the study, we saw that it's not good business to hire a star, right? And I think if we can support Rina, she needs to do a good job with a new customer, right?
Right.
This new customer we need to do some things quickly. PowerShift is the new client, right? And I think she knows enough. She have enough information about this new customer, and she can get the support of all the team because RSH, right, works, okay, Robin Stern Hertz works in teams, right? And perhaps everybody can support in one time.
So how do you think David would be able to fit within that environment? Do you think he'd be a good fit for that?
I think she's fine. Rina
David.
No, about David. I think David is, I don't know. David have a lot of experience, right? But his, no, David is is excellent, right? But
right.
I prefer to try to now invest in contract hiring new stars, right? If I have the possibility to make grow my own talent in the company. I think that.
Okay. I mean, David does, yes, he has a lot of experience. He's definitely very familiar with his field of research, but you know, with him, you know, one thing that kind of turned me off, one of the things that kind of turned me off was he's really focusing on stocks and he wants to play with the stocks and kind of figure out how that works. But when he was with his kids, like his grandkids even, he didn't even come back for an emergency that required his professional opinion. And that was a big no-no on my part, because if you're on your job, yes, you're on vacation, but if there's something that requires your personal expertise and everyone's like, hey, we need you to do this, you're the one that can actually do it, we need you to now, then you should be able to respond and go, okay, let's get this done and let's get it taken care of with, right? So to me, with David being as old as he is, he's definitely trying to find a little bit of security because he wants to retire, he wants to spend time with his grandkids, he wants to, you know, kind of live a more relaxed life as he gets older and older because of that fact of focusing on retirement and spending time with his family. So that was something that was a con, one of the cons that I got out of David, which is a big one. I mean, family's important. You have to spend time with family, but there are times when you have to focus on emergencies for work. So, any other opinions on David?
Yeah, from what you're saying, I'd counter that a little bit. Is that, you know, in the Covey book, he talks about what are your priorities, and David showed that his family was a priority, but I think he could delegate that to his juniors too, that so-called emergency, and it
Kind of,
seemed to work out that way.
and he trusted his juniors to be able to handle the situation. It kind of tells you what kind of leader or how he was able to teach his junior analysts to be able to handle the situation, even if he stepped back a little bit. So
Yep.
from that, so, yeah.
And we were given that other sheet. It was the portable and rarely portable, the skill set. David had a lot of the portable skills that a lot of the other candidates didn't have. So he might have been a good option.
All right, cool. Oh, what about Sonia? What are your feelings about Sonia?
She was my top choice, actually.
She was mine too.
She wasn't keen on traveling, but she showed she could communicate well via web conferencing or just getting on the phone. She seemed to be a good relationship builder. She had a lot of the portable skills too that was on that one sheet.
And she ranked in that magazine, the II magazine, on her own. She wasn't really with it because she worked in a boutique. She didn't really have like like most of these other people. She wasn't involved in like some large Wall Street investment firm. She was doing it all on her own, and that's what impressed me. Was she's a hard worker, and what I liked is that she was taking notes with a SpongeBob pen. It just kind of shows you. You know, she's not just so serious all the time, but she is, you know, she is a hard worker, but at the same time, she's got a little bit of character to be able to, and confidence to take notes with a SpongeBob pen. That's what I like. But anyway.
I agree. I like her. I like that she can, she's diversified. She can do all of it. She knows how to do everything because she's been doing it by herself with no assistants, no juniors, none of that. And she still has become where she's at. And so she can do everything, and she was willing to do it all. It wasn't all about money for her. She loved what she was doing. She loved the research part of it. And she seems willing to jump in and start off running just to go. But her biggest problem is she doesn't know everybody, and contacts are very important. So that would be my only downfall with her, is that if they do hire her, she needs to make those contacts fast, and she might have to travel some.
Yeah. And that was the only thing, you know, because a lot of these where this job requires travel, and because of, you know, she wasn't able to do that as much before. So I think that was one of the cons that I found.
Well, and she wants to work from home, and I don't, you know, I mean, how much is that going to affect things? I want to work from home too, so I understand where she's coming from, but I mean, how does that, is she able to work at home and accomplish just as much from working in the office?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. Because it is difficult, because like for my dad, for Boeing, he works from home sometimes, but it's the rules are you cannot bother him, otherwise he will get fired. The rules for Boeing is that you're working at home, you cannot be working with your kids, you can't be doing anything with your kids, because you need to focus, and the information is confidential as well, but they need you to focus and really pay attention to what's going on. So, Esteban, what do you think?
Well, when I see the different candidates, I like Seth Horkum, because I feel that he will develop a loyal to firm. he's loyal with when when how do you Steven, when Steven talk with people, he received good commentaries of him about loyal. For me, this is an excellent skill that every person that developing.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, yeah, Sonia, I like her too. But yeah. Louise, what do you think of, what's your opinion about Sonia? What do you think her pros and cons are?
Okay, I think Sonia is amazing, but I hired Sonia, but not like a star, right? I think I can hire her to give her the chance to work in a high Wall Street company, right? And to have, she likes a lot working teams, right? And I think she will be a star. But as well, I know she don't earns enough money, right? I could be a good senior analyst, a good analyst, junior analyst, right? But I can hire the chance to, especially to handle international business, right? She's very smart, and she had a lot of contacts there. I think it's a chance, right? And it not, and the company didn't have to do a lot of investment and contract in hiring, right? And I think she's important for the future of the company. And she's, I think she's fine, but not like a senior, not like a star, right? I think the company have the chance to hire her to know about the knowledge and her talent. And perhaps in the future she'll be the senior and a star. I think that.
Thank you. Let's see. I think the last one was Seth, right?
Yes.
All right. Seth, I kind of liked him in the beginning, but then I was like, I don't know about him. Because he's the only one, right, that he did not ask about his compensation, his pay, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of huge. Because the way my dad told me, he's also a professional business interviewer and collaborator, and he's explained to me that when you're interviewing, don't ask about pay. It's not really something that's like necessary to talk about. If it gets brought up naturally, then okay, but don't incite it, because that puts the other person in an awkward position. As we can see that Steven, he was feeling rather awkward for the other interviews when they go, oh, how much am I going to get paid? What's my salary compare with other people? Like, well, okay, fine. And he explains it. But with Seth, I see that a lot of pros. He's very intelligent. He's young. He's energetic. One con that I didn't really like, that I think is kind of a negative for him, he all of a sudden brings up all this like portfolio information of himself in the respect of people praising him and doing all this about his work and what he did. And Steven himself found it a little strange. Like, okay, that's odd. You know, you present yourself like a little pretty package. Hello, this is me. And without being able to have Steven like find that out for himself, because Steven went into this kind of blind. He's like, well, I don't really know much about Seth. There's not a whole lot to learn about him because there wasn't information out there. So I didn't really like how he just gave this information out, and he was a kind of, I believe, I got the feeling of that he was a little bit subconscious about how people perceive him and how he's interpreted by others. What do you guys think?
I was a little skeptical of Seth, and I still am, just because he trusted this other headhunter to go find people for him. And if this guy didn't find him, then what's really going on? What's the real thing? And why isn't he calling that other headhunter and asking him about Seth? That's what I want to know. I want to know why that other headhunter didn't pull Seth out. I guess I kind of trust this other headhunter just because initially the boss does, but so I guess that's where my problem is with Seth. It's not necessarily Seth, it's why didn't that other headhunter pull him out?
And in his profile, it says that he was finally ranked, I guess, in the II magazine, and he thought that would increase like his pay, but it didn't. And he was kind of he was disappointed or something like that. I'm trying to look at where it was. To add insult to injury, his research director never seemed to regard him as among the top analysts in her department. That's what she says. And so he thought he deserved more recognition, and but he was disappointed every year. It says.
I think he talked down about his previous employer quite a bit. I think that's a no-no in an interview situation.
Absolutely.
And he had that advantage that he was familiar with the Power Chip, the company they were that RSH was researching, and that was an advantage. But I think, the other interviews that the RSH teams did, a lot of them liked his personality, so they were doing the personality-based judgment, and none of them really gave any objective reasons why to hire him again. So I wouldn't recommend Seth as a viable candidate.
I wouldn't either. But Morley, I mean, I don't like the whole profile thing. Look at me, look what I've done. But I mostly want to know why that other headhunter didn't pull him out. There's got to be a reason in there that they're not telling us. There's something.
Louise or Esteban, what do you guys think about Steven? Or Seth, sorry.
Okay, as I say, this man is loyal, and he have some types of human capital. For example, is high in general management, in strategy skills, and he have excellent relationships in this industry of trading. For me, when I compare David and Seth, I prefer Seth because this is a prospect that how do you say that? For a long, he can work more time because he's young, and it maybe it should we can take this in consideration when we hire this kind of people. He's a younger talent and will prove in the enterprises to be more beneficial.
Perfect. Luis?
About Seth, I think it's a good, but I think perhaps it's an economic, right? And I think in this case we need a more technicians, because the new customer is the company with Power Chip, right? And I think he could have a lot of time to understand the procedures of the company, right? I think their expertise is not so how can I say that sharply?
Yeah.
In this moment, yes, this crucial moment, right? Because he needs time to attend the new customer, right? I think is the contract, because we need time, and time we don't have time this morning for this hiring.
Right. Thank you, Luis. So here's what I want you guys to think about is the next question we have to discuss. Who would you hire and why? And when you think about that, I want you to think of about 3 reasons why you would hire that person that you like, and then we can kind of talk about that a little bit afterwards. And then when we're done with that, I got something to show you guys. So whoever wants to go first can go first.
Sorry. Sonia's who I had hired. She did a lot of research about RSH. None of the others seemed to have that. So she came into the interview knowing a lot about RSH, is one of the things they're looking for, somebody that does good research. She's not yet a star. She's an up and comer. So I think that puts her outside of the realm that they're talking about in our studies this week, that is hiring a star. I mean, she looks trainable and teachable. Then she's shown a lot of other good portable skills there too.
Perfect. Thanks, Ken.
I would hire Sonia too, just because when she was in the interview with Steven, she had a lot of questions that all the other interviewees didn't ask Steven. And it just like Kent was saying, that, you know, she was prepared and she did her research about the company. That shows me that she's willing to put forth the effort in the research that she will be doing for RSH. And I would appreciate, as someone that's, you know, looking at her as a potential candidate, to know that she's interested and she wants to know more about the company, and she's willing to put forth that effort to be able to accomplish what needs to be done. So I do appreciate that about her, and she's very intelligent. And so, yeah, so Sonia would be my top choice.
Sonia would be mine, mostly because I feel like she's willing to do what she needs to do to become a top star. And I don't think it will take her that long to become that way. I think she's trainable and she's moldable, which every company needs somebody that's going to be trainable to do things the way that that company does things. I don't think David or any of the other candidates are going to be moldable. I think they're set in their ways and they want to do things a certain way. When you go to a new company, even if your way is a good way, you kind of have to adapt to their way of thinking. And I think Sonia is completely down that path. I think she's a team player and is willing to work with the team. I don't think she will put other people down, and I think she'll work well with everyone, but I think she'll also do her job well. My biggest concern with her is the traveling, and especially at first I feel like she's going to have to sacrifice a little bit of her family time and go travel to meet all of these connections that need to be made.
Perfect. Luis or Esteban, which candidate do you like, and what are 3 reasons that you like that person?
I like Seth for so many reasons. First, when I read the document, I see that went to Harvard. This is a university in IIB. He graduated as a cum laude in economics. This is a great experience. And work long hours and when in the before works. But when he talks with Steven, I like when he says feels like he's not being recognized for his work. Feels that by moving to a better platform, he can finally get the recognition he deserves. If for me, when people wants to achieve something, and this is the most important thing for a company. I don't know.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Louise, how about you, bud?
Well, as I told her, I think Sonia for me. It's not the big star, right? She's a talent that can grow in the company, right? And she is not a little investment, right, in hiring. And I think the company is well supported with its new experience. I think change are important in every step of our lives, right? And
Absolutely.
this is a good time, right? And according to the other stars, I think they are good talents, right? But I think the company, RSI, have a teamwork, right? And this is important to support the team, right? And this is the moment to show that, right? And hire and make a good hiring with her, right? Telling Sonia, you are not a star, right? We have an opportunity in Wall Street, in a big company, right? Here we have the opportunity. If you want, you can start working with us. I think that.
That's perfect. Thank you. You know, I kind of like Rena. She's the one person we didn't really talk about yet. She's kind of under the radar. She's already in that spot right now. She's had that experience, and she's been with the RSH for a number of years. And for me personally, I like her because, you know, three things. She's been there for a while. She's familiar with all the employees. They've all known her as well, so she has a good relationship there. Um, she's not a tier two like star professional, but she can become one, and she appears to be willing to work to accomplish that. Because when Steven came in to her, goes, "Hey, how's it going?" She's like, "Oh, it's going great. Here's what I've been doing, this and that." And she's like, "Hey, and I want this position." Um, that proved that she will work for it. Yes, she's a little bit of an introvert, and sometimes that's okay. Sometimes it's not. But as long as she's able to understand that she needs to be outspoken when she needs to be, then she's going to really excel and learn a lot. And that's kind of my hope, and that's kind of why I like her, because of that ability that she may have and that opportunity she has to really progress with.
Plus, she also worked with Peter Thompson.
That is also true.
Yeah, and so she knows, his thoughts and what he's doing with all of it. So that's kind of a plus for her too.
Correct.
Okay, I think Matthew, it's important to. Hello, Matthew. Can you hear me? Okay. I think you need to hire Rena. Rena is into the company, right? Right now, they need a little support, right? Perhaps a promotion, right? And the new hiring is Sonia, like a new start. I think it's, but I think she expressed that she thought that he is we lose payment, right? We lose salary.
Right.
I lose salary, and I think it's possible to have a negotiation with her, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I think it's possible. Not contract a Sonia about $500 month a year per year, no? Perhaps a good commission, right?
Mm.
I think it could be important to
No,
have
absolutely.
Sonia into the company and have a good negotiation for this salary, perhaps with bonus, perhaps with other things, right? But the Rina is into the company, and the new hire will be Sonia.
Right. And those are definitely options that are always good to consider and to really put forth that on the table so that way everyone can have that option. So, and kind of coming into salaries, we see here this list of all the people, including Rena, and they're listed by how much that they're rated according to their market workforce. So, David, who's one of the older ones, as we figured, he's $1.3 million per year, and he has also a multiplier. Well, his pay raise is going to be pretty substantial because after that pay raise is going to hit 1.5. Gerald will also be hitting about $1 million after that pay raise. So we kind of see the last two, Sonia and Rena, they're not really changing much. Rena particularly will not be changing a whole lot. And a company has to look at this and go, okay, so this is a fixed liability that we're going to have. We have to pay this every year. Do we want this liability to increase or decrease? And if we take an increasing liability, is that going to profit us? You know, we know that Rena's got good experience. She worked with Peter. She's very capable, and she was actually growing. She was having some growth while Stephen was doing all these interviews. She was being successful. But, you know, her pay raise is still, 0.3, and I believe she's pretty happy with that. Otherwise, she might accept, 0.5, which means $500,000 a year. So considering this, if you were the owner of RSH and you know that all these people are good, and then you kind of look at them out, I don't like David, I don't like Gerald, Seth's okay, Sonia's pretty good, I like her, and Rena's she's also developing and learning. Would this change your perspective on how you would hire these people?
I'd want to compare it to what Peter was making as well.
That's a good point.
For me, yes, a little bit, but also I had Sonia picked out initially anyway.
Right.
So for me, it helps it be more of a safe bet just because she's making less and that's less we have to put into her. But if we want to keep Sonia, we're going to have to raise her wage or she'll leave. I mean, you got to realize that you've got to be competitive if you want these people to stay long term.
Well, remember when she asked Stephen the regular salary raise, she was like, oh, she thought, oh, that's more than I'm making.
Yes.
So she's already stepping up quite substantially from what she was before. For an individual with that, that's going to be a comfort right there because, okay, cool, I'm making more, even though it's maybe an extra $300,000. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
She's going to be comfortable and be able to work with that. And then perhaps, 5-10 years from then, pay raise, another $200,000 or so.
Well, look at how much they're willing to pay David, $1.5 million. I mean,
right.
She has the opportunity to get that high.
Absolutely. And David's very experienced. And that,
right.
And
I think, because I kind of feel bad for Rena a little bit just because Sonia isn't that much more experienced than her. But Sonia has the qualifications that they need. But he has also promised Rena, when you read in there, that she will be promoted because she has done a good job. So he's not demoralizing her. I think he's willing to give her more as well. It's just not going to be in that position.
Right.
It's a little shocking that he's not raising Rena's salary.
Yeah.
In that offer.
I thought about that. And it might be a factor of, she's still growing. She's still developing her career.
Yeah, to me, it reflects badly on RSH. They're giving somebody more responsibility, but not giving them
more money.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that they should give her more money as well. But I figured that when she got the other promotion, they would give her more money. I didn't see this part of it.
Esteban, Luis, what do you guys think?
And this, I see in the recruitment star document, and I like Sonia for the salary. It's a little more of Rina, and this is much better for the company. David is 1.5 million. If this is too much money. I like Sonia for that.
Cool. Thank you. Mr. Luis.
Okay, I think Sonia, absolutely Sonia. I think that's the will be the new star of the company. Not in this moment. In this moment, I think Rina have all the possibility to grow the company, right? But Sonia, that's good at channel. I think Sonia is a good choice for the company.
Perfect. Thank you.
If I was an outsider looking in at that, I'd wonder about what I think RSH doesn't think much of Rena to not offer more money. So I'd still stick with Sonia there.
I got you covered. No, yeah, thank you guys for that input there. And kind of the next question we should focus on and think about these next couple of minutes is really giving Rena a more permanent offer or hire her outside of the company, and then kind of considering how with Peter leaving, should Steven have like forced Peter to stay, or was letting him go a good option? So
I think by letting him go, it was a good option. I mean, you can, try to give them pay raises and stuff like that. But if they want to go, it's not good to hold somebody who's got already a reason in their head to leave, because if he doesn't leave now, he'll leave sooner or later. And he just quit and left. He didn't give 2 weeks or anything. He just left. Gave his notice and left, it says in there.
Right. Yeah.
Wasn't clear in the case study whether Stephen offered Peter that extra money.
That's true, it wasn't.
And then
Peter.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Ken.
No, that's all right. I was done.
Yeah, he'd already had that mind frame that he wanted to work for something else, maybe to get further up in the rankings in the II magazine, I guess, so he already had that mind frame to be okay. I'm leaving, and so he probably wouldn't be, if he stayed with RSH, that he wouldn't give it his all, I guess you could say. I don't know if that makes sense, but it was probably good, just like Stephanie said, to let him go, let him spread his wings, elsewhere. And then this is a good opportunity for RSH to be able to have someone come in and to be able to, like the article we read about, to have them be able to grow their own star. And that'll boost their rankings, RSH's rankings.
I agree. And also it said that when they were reviewing, is it Stephen that left?
No,
Names escape me. Peter. When they were reviewing him, his peers were having a hard time with him. The people he was working with, because he was wanting to take over everybody's project and doing all of this stuff too. So really, in all honesty, I don't feel like it was a bad thing that happened.
Yeah. I kind of like what Louisa said earlier today too about change, how change is really important for us to develop and grow. I did like that comment from Louise, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, even for kind of what we're talking about now, how that this change and development really perfects and how it gives opportunity for growth and development. So I know we kind of talked about Rena a little bit earlier today, and we I think we're all in agreement that giving her more of a permanent position that's higher from what she is a good thing, right? We would kind of agree with that.
Yes.
Yeah. What about Seth? Meaning, do we think that Stephen should have spoken with the recruiter about Seth, which we kind of talked. I know was it Stephanie? You talked a little bit about how you were disappointed Steven didn't go to the recruiter to get more information about Seth. I mean, is that really important, or going in blind kind of a better option? What do you guys think?
I think I get it that I've already stated this, but I honestly think that when you trust somebody and you trust their opinion, he's going to this recruiter because he obviously trusts him, he trusts his opinion, and he knows he can get him a good employee. So when you trust somebody that explicitly, I think you need to get their opinion on why they at least didn't. It doesn't mean you can't still interview Seth. It doesn't mean any of that stuff. But why didn't you pull him out? What is different about him? At least find that information out.
Now, Kent, I know you run a business, right?
Yes.
And you've done a number of interviews, correct?
Yes. Yep. A lot of them.
Have you found it more comfortable to obtain as much information before the interview about the person, or just going blind, essentially going cold without any information at all?
No, we definitely generate some information up front before we ever interview them. We might even have a phone interview before the face-to-face. We definitely take applications and resumes and do some research off those into the person. There's a lot of stuff online that you can find out that it's out there. People got to remember that when they're posting and things. So,
yeah, my dad's reminded me about that too. So, good point. Esteban, what do you think? Steven should have really spoken with the recruiter more about Seth.
Well, wait. When I see the document, I see that he had a weak expressive skills and weak writing skills. For me, when receive no, I pass this question.
Okay. No worries. You're good. I'm kind of switching gears here, and Louise, I want to ask you this question. Does a person's performance necessarily mean that when they switch a company to a different company, are they going to maintain that high performance, or do you think that they could slack off or not be as good?
You're asking for me?
Yeah.
Okay. I think about how Seth arrives, yes, to this group of resume, and it don't arrive by Craig, right? He's the headhunter. This curriculum comes from Anita, right? And I question why Craig don't have this resume, right? He's a headhunter. He's the headhunter of the company. He have worked in a long time, yes? And it is something strange there, right? But I could ask the Craig, do you know something about Seth because he is looking for a job. He wants to show new opportunities. I know that Seth wants to work, especially with RSH, right? He wants to work there. But I want to ask my confident headhunter, why you don't have not looking at Seth? Do you have something to know about Seth that I don't know? Right? I think this is very important.
It makes sense. Thank you, Louise. Does the performance at one firm guarantee high performance in another firm? What do you guys think?
I think yes and no. Does it guarantee it? No. Does it make your possibilities high? Yes. I think that if somebody is a hard worker, it is in their DNA, and most likely they're going to work hard for you as well. Does it guarantee it? No. I don't think there is any guarantees for that.
And I agree with you on that one.
In that secondary document, there's some stuff in there that talks about what a star needs when they come into a new company. It's what a good company would have in place to start with, that have resources and capabilities, that have systems and processes, that have good leadership, that have good internal networks, training programs. And if the company they're moving to has all that stuff, it would more likely guarantee their success. If they're missing some of those aspects, then it's going to reduce the chances that that person's going to have success. Those are actually aspects that I'm focusing on in my company now. Make sure we got those in place too. So
Excellent.
it was interesting to see that.
That's pretty awesome.
Any other comments?
For me, when I want to see a person, I prefer that he depends of the years of work in the past and other firms, because when in the past when, for example, 50 years in a company, it's a long time. Foresee that if these people works and these people have good skills and works good in a company. For me, it depends of the time of the company, and that's all.
Okay, I think we need time right now to attend a new customer, right? I think Rina is the perfect junior analyst to do this job, right? He knows a lot of this customer. And the other hand, a new star doesn't work fine in unless 1 year or 2 years, right? He needs time, and the company needs time right now. For that reason, I think Sonia could be the next star for our future, right? Just not right now. But I think it's the way.
All right. Well, I mean, that kind of wraps up today's meeting, guys. So thank you for being here today. You did an awesome job. I really appreciate you guys' input and all your experience. It definitely helps me out a lot. So I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Yeah.
So one question before we go.
Yes.
Esteban, are you okay to do the leader aspect next week?
Oh, that's me.
Oh, it's you. Oh.
And then Esteban will be week 8.
Okay. All right. All right.
Sounds good. Well, I'll look forward to seeing you all.
Okay.
Would you like to close with would you like to end with a closing prayer or no?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. I can say it.
Thanks.
Our beloved Father in heaven, we thank thee for the opportunity we've had to come together, learn and grow, and be able to express and share our experiences and knowledge and opinions about business life as well as career development. We ask thou bless each one of us to go and learn and continue to grow and develop, that we may be able to help others to come unto thee as well as to perfect our knowledge of thee and also of our chosen career. Love thee, Lord, and we say this in thy son's holy name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, guys.